Wait, Jason, I have to 2 seconds.
You always do this. Like right when we like, what is wrong with you? It's already live. Like we can't go back. I can't stop it. I mean, we're just here looking stupid because of Dex.
Looking foolish.
I'm gonna give you the best intro of all time. Don't you worry. You know what I should do? I should have made up like a Game of Thrones, like
of all shows that you
still can for the podcast.
No, sir. I would have gone with Good Times before I would have gone with Game of Thrones. But thank you.
I'm so sorry. As soon as we sat down, my thing said low power mode. Your computer's shutting down like right now.
Oh, I'm glad you took care of that. That would have been quite tacky. All right, we live. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Welcome to another edition of Bro Talk Live. Tonight's rundown, we have a very special guest. We'll tell you about her a little bit later. We're going to be talking about her hashtag, as well as R. Kelly, Howard University, and we're going to play a little game a little bit later called Would You Rather. So yeah, look at that lineup. Isn't it tremendous? Can't wait. My name is Jason. If it's your first time watching, welcome to the show. This is a show kind of like the black inverse version of The View. I think that's the best way to describe this, because we're black men and The View are, outside of Whoopi, white women.
Yes,
but so yeah, so this is like the black inverse version of The View. Also black CNN, if you want to call it that. This is called Bro Talk Live. Just put it that way. Let's kick it to my main man Dex. What up, bro?
Dex the one here, or Dexter Stuckey here. Super excited to be here. So just really quickly, I want to say that I want to give a quick shout out to Matt and Shakima. I just came back from St. Lucia, and it was an amazing wedding that I was there for. But while I was there, I actually hooked up with this company called Real St. Lucia Tours that I think if you guys are ever in the city of St. Lucia, please go visit them. Like all the pictures I've been posting on my social media was courtesy of that company. So if you guys liked the things that I was doing, jet skiing, bathing the volcanoes, anything like that, make sure you guys look up this company. It's an amazing company. They even help provide transportation to and from the airport. If you guys are ever in St. Lucia, please look up Real St. Lucia Tours.
Hey man, Bill, what up, bro?
Dex, St. Lucia's a city?
Yeah, is that a country? What's
country.
Going on? You said city.
I don't think I did.
You did. We could rewind it, but we just don't have the time. And we have a guest to get
But
to.
yes, I am William, fourth of my name, House of Mayor, protector of the Seven Realms.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining us.
Winter is here also.
We have a very special guest. Speaking of hierarchies, we have a queen with us today. None other than Miss April Rain. Welcome to the show, April.
Thank you for having me, fellas. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Super glad to have you. If you guys don't know, April, she is all over Twitter. We're going to talk about a few of her viral hashtag campaigns. If you don't know, April's been featured in many publications, including Forbes, Ebony, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, CBS, Huffington Post, Washington Post, Time, Adweek, the Chicago Tribune, New York Post, Newsweek. I'm doing all of this just to give you the accolades that you deserve, because you've been going off. Like, so thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Guys, do you have any opening questions for Ms. April here?
So I just want to start off by saying that, like, we dubbed you Queen of the Internet because not everyone can get a hashtag trending like the way you've done. And not only are they just like regular, like not only are they just hashtags, they're like meaningful ones. Like you've gotten some big things, some big hashtags like trending. And I just want to know right off the bat, like, what was your strategy going into that? Like putting it out there? Was it just you putting your opinion out, or did you want it to go viral? Did you think it would go viral?
For No Confederate, or for Oscar So White, or for a different one?
Either one, to be honest with you. But like, I remember you first came on my radar with Oscar So White. That's what like first started. Like I was like, oh my God, like this is I noticed it because, you know, I'm not blind. And I noticed that the Oscars were very white that year. But like, I didn't think that there was anything that we could do about it or say about it, but you did it. Like you took it and you really made it your own.
Right. So actually, even before Oscar So White, I did a hashtag campaign, which was Stop the Fight. So if you remember, I believe it was 2014, the rapper DMX was going to fight the killer of Trayvon Martin, whose name I don't use because he's a sociopath. And so he'll be searching for it. But you know who I'm talking about. And I just thought that that was a bad idea. Supposedly it was going to be a charity bout, right? And so all the money was going to go either to the Martin family or to the foundation or something. And I just thought that was a just a horrible idea. So I started the hashtag Stop the Fight intentionally because I wanted to stop the fight. I mean, it was clear and concise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that picked up a lot of steam. Janet Dickerson, who's now my manager, did an online petition while I was doing the social media work. And eventually the fight promoter called me. We had a significant conversation, and then a few days after that, he canceled the fight.
Wow.
So that was sort of my first foray into hashtag activism at that level. Oscar
awesome.
Fight was organic. You know, it was one-off. It was one tweet. Oscar So White, they asked to touch my hair, that I tweeted as I was watching the nominations for the Oscars in January of 2015. I tweeted that, finished getting ready for work, and went on and checked back in at lunchtime and realized that it was trending internationally. So
wow.
Tremendous.
That was not intentional, but you know, there's something to be said for when you do have a viral hashtag like that, and it's not, you know, like a meme or something like that. It's something that you want to talk about. You have to decide if you're going to be the face of that campaign, and if you want to handle, you know, the responsibilities that come with it, because there are positives and there are also negatives.
Definitely.
And for this last campaign, No Confederate, it was actually not my idea to run a campaign. No Confederate is run by 5 Black women. They are Chanel Little, me, Rebecca Theodore, Lauren Warren, and Jamie Broadnax, who you guys probably know because she has a fantastic podcast and other things. She's the founder of
Absolutely.
Black Mothers. So we came up with a hashtag together and intentionally launched the campaign on a Friday morning. And I mean, we discussed it Thursday night. We launched it Friday morning, and we said on Sunday during Game of Thrones, we are going to have this hashtag trending nationally to say that we are opposed to HBO's new premise of a show, Confederate.
Absolutely.
Not only did it trend nationally, number 1, it was number 2 in the world. And we were able to get that done with over, according to the Twitter analytics, over 125,000 no Confederate tweets in a 3-day period.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Let me jump in here real quick, because on that topic of the No Confederate, I have the tweets up here on this other screen that you can see, where you just, you know, it's like you talked about it before you were going to do it. You told us stay tuned, and you came back with some fire. So It's just like you did what you said you were going to do, and you delivered, and you actually achieved exactly what you wanted to do. So kudos for that. It's amazing. And I like this last tweet that you had. I guess it was back on July 30th, but you know, the campaign's still running along. And the fact that you said, now, if we can get No Confederate trending worldwide at a specific time with just 3 days notice, imagine what we can do with more time. So now that you have that more time, what do you plan on doing to further get the awareness out that we don't need this show on television?
Right, that's an excellent question. And I think more people are starting to understand that, even after, especially after what happened in Charlottesville, you know, with the white supremacists, the white nationalists, the Klan members, whatever you want to call them, they're all evil. You know, and just an understanding that, you know, and with the removal of Confederate statues around the country now, this is not the time for that show, if ever. So we will have an online petition, just as we did with Stop the Fight. We are accepting video submissions from regular people like you and me.
Yeah, I saw you did that in the first week. Are you still going along with that still?
Absolutely, because we're going to compile all of the videos into a larger vignette that we will share publicly and with HBO. And remember that this show isn't even supposed to start production until Game of Thrones is over, which we have another year, which is what I was sort of intimating in that tweet. So we'll see what happens, but a year from now, or maybe even 2 years from now, before HBO actually brings the show to air, if they decide to do that, I'm not sure that they're really thinking about the fact that consumers are really going to have some different choices with respect to how they get their entertainment. So if we're talking about streaming services, especially because Amazon is going to be coming out with Black America, which is going to be produced by Will Packer.
Correct. Yep.
And that's a show that's going to be empowering for us because it's about us thriving in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama after Reconstruction, and we've actually received reparations. There are other shows that are going to be on that are going to be more uplifting. And so perhaps, you know, people are going to decide that HBO isn't a network that they want to rock with, you know, in 2018 or 2019. So we may be encouraging people to make those choices.
Awesome. Bill, did you have a question for April?
I do. I had several questions, but I have to screen my questions because you see me in my initial environment, and so be a little off. So I hold them.
All right. You can't ask one of them now, Bill. I'm here for you.
Bill tends to get a little like, how do I put it? Bill tends to get a little excited when we talk about certain topics. So I think something like this will probably really set him off.
Yeah, we don't want to lose any communities because he does tend to go off. What's your plan though if you know, I'm not saying that your campaign won't be effective, but what's the plan if they decide to ignore everything that you've done, ignore the petitions, and still go ahead and greenlight production of the show?
Right. Well, and that's a fair question. You know, what we will still protest the show. You know, what we're saying to HBO is you're going to don't spend millions of dollars per episode, which we know that's what it's going to be, right? Because that's what Game of Thrones is. Don't spend the energy, the resources. Don't try to cast people because we will be there. And again, you know, if HBO decides that they don't want to shut down Confederate now, they go through, and right now the indication, even after Charlottesville, they're doubling down and saying, oh, well, we wish that you guys would just wait and see and give us the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Which, let's remember, that's the same thing they said about Donald Trump. And here we are.
Very true. Very true.
Maybe that's not the way we want to go with this specific idea. But, you know, we are not going anywhere. That means we're going to have over a year to organize. And so it would not surprise me if we would be calling for an all-out boycott of HBO at that time. You know, but we're hoping that it doesn't come to that because HBO still does good work, right?
Yeah, they still have Beyonce every now and then on there. So, you know what I'm saying?
They have
Insecure right now too. Like
exactly.
To see like HBO even like thinking about or even considering doing a show like this, it's kind of insulting because I feel like they have been somewhere on the up and up and kind of like, you know, showing diversity and stuff like that. And it's just like, this isn't what we need from you. Like, this isn't what anybody needs at all. So like, I'm behind your petition 100%, 120%, because this is it's great that you're stepping up and you're speaking up for communities and people who like. Not that they can't speak up for themselves, but it's just kind of like a lot of people would just be like, oh, I'm just not going to watch. But it's bigger than just not watching. Nobody should be watching this. This shouldn't be something that we're like okay with putting on TV for people to see.
Right. I agree.
Bill, you want to say something?
I mean, and at the very latest, you can just call me. I come down there and cuss people out, and we can get the job done. Like, no, but and on a serious note, what is your reaction to Colin Kaepernick and him not having a job, and now some of his, let's say, clearer-skinned counterparts joining the protest in the NFL?
Well, it's about damn time. Am I allowed to? Sorry.
Oh no, what girl? We're not run by SEC Airways. So whatever you like to say.
I stand with Colin Kaepernick, and I kneel with Colin Kaepernick 100% from the very beginning. I live in the DC area, so I am a Ravens fan.
Okay, come on, April from Baltimore. Right. That's what I'm talking about.
But I have not one but two Colin Kaepernick jerseys.
I hear that.
You know, and I think it's great that we are seeing white folks and non-Black folks finally getting involved with this, you know, and it's very similar to the stuff that I do with Oscar So White, right? It's one thing if you have, you know, people of color saying, well, we need more jobs. It's another thing when white people use their privilege, which is what they're doing, and stand in the gap and say, you know what, let's stand up, let me use my privilege, because you're going to listen to me, fellow white man, faster than you're going to listen to fellow black man or fellow black woman or whatever the case may be. So I'm 100% in favor of not just white folks standing up, but we had recently the New York Police Department, some of their officers are standing up now for CAP. We see more fellas kneeling. And we see women kneeling. Let's remember, like even last season, there was a female soccer player who knelt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm hoping that makes a difference. If you look at some of the people that are in the league now, and the fact that Colin doesn't have a job when he would be a much better player, a much better quarterback, it's obvious to me what's going on. So I'm hoping that there's a resolution. And in the meantime, he's staying so busy. I mean, he just announced today, where his next $100,000 is going. And he's just an amazing man to me.
He's definitely on a great run right now as far as the social work that he's doing. Let's changing gears a little bit. We had a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago. His name's Matthew Cherry. And I heard through the grapevine that you guys are linking up to do a podcast.
We are, yes.
Wow.
So we're really, really excited about it. Matthew and I have been Twitter friends for a really long time. I'm really so impressed with the work that he's done. For your folks who weren't listening to that previous episode, Matthew is a former NFL player turned writer and director, and he filmed an entire movie on his iPhone and premiered it at South by Southwest, which is amazing. High quality, obviously festival worthy kind of film. And so he has obvious connections to the entertainment industry. I have a few here and there as well. And so we're going to link up and talk mess and interview interesting people, so that'll be coming soon. I'm really, really excited about it. I've been asked to do a podcast for a really long time, and this one feels right.
And I will be tuned into every episode.
As well.
What made you? I'm just curious. What made you go into like the entertainment industry diversity battle? Because it's a very uphill battle. Like what I'm saying, you're working so hard to get so little recognition for what you do. So what made you go into that?
Yeah, it's not about me. I mean, I practiced law for almost 20 years, and I walked away from that and got into the entertainment field first by writing for Broadway Black, which is at broadwayblack.com, so go visit them. And then I became the managing editor there. And then Oscar So White happened. So, you can say it's just Twitter if you want to, but, the last 2.5 years of my life have been completely changed because of that tweet. And so that is what took me into the diversity and inclusion space for entertainment. And, as I said, it's not about me. It's not about the recognition. It's about making sure that more traditionally underrepresented communities have the opportunity to have their stories told. It's about getting more marginalized communities in the room, from the screenwriting stage all the way up to the greenlighting stage, so we don't have other miscues like deciding, hello, Kendall Jenner, that a sip of soda is going to cure racism. Like, where were the people of color in that room?
Jesus.
So that
You
might
about to get him started. You about to get him started.
I'm about to go because it's pissing me off. Like, girl, you thought just because okay, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I'm about to lose it. Because you think just because you don't like Jay's daughter and y'all like, come on, sis.
That's not the wrong one. You talking about the wrong one.
And there was
let me tell you something. They all listen.
April Rain, you see why we call her the queen of the internet. Thank you for this opportunity to interview you. You want to hang around for a couple of topics?
I would love to.
All right, bet. Let's get to it. You guys ready? You guys ready? Any more questions for April? We good?
Oh.
Hearts and minds clear? All right, yeah, we starting you off tough. Can you fathom enjoying R. Kelly's music again? Now, she immediately
Absolutely
regrets
not.
staying
Move
on the show. If you haven't heard, a new accusation has come out about R. Kelly from a young lady named Jarhonda Pace. At age 15, she ditched school so she could visit the child pornography trial that R. Kelly was, involved in. She was a super fan in the courtroom, but she alleges that one time R. Kelly noticed her and that they eventually had an underage sexual relationship that she says is backed up by legal documents. Now, she's 24, and she says that she's violating this NDA that she signed because what she's been through is just not right. And here are 5 quick things that we learned from her confessions. She says that in 2009, R. Kelly sent a car for her to go back to her mansion, and the two had oral sex. But R. Kelly made sure that she would not tell anybody, having her sign a blackmail letter basically saying that she stole jewelry and that she's being held because she stole jewelry or whatever like that. Also, number 2, without asking permission, according to Jer Honda, R. Kelly filmed most of the encounters on his iPhone or on a video camera. She also had to call him daddy, and quote unquote, he would call me baby. He wanted me to have 2 pigtails, and she had to go out and find little schoolgirl outfits. She also describes similar rules to the other girls that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where she had to have loose-fitting clothes, give up her phone. She could not shower, eat, or even use the bathroom without R. Kelly's permission. And breaking these rules could result in a punishment, such as slapping, choking, and quote-unquote spitting on her, which is disgusting. If R. Kelly believed Pace to be of age, she alleges that he definitively learned the truth on July 17, 2009, when she showed him her ID, and she says that he told her to say that she was 19 at the time. She was only 17 years old. R. Kelly, for his part, posted this on his Twitter account today. They thought they could throw dirt to bury you, not knowing you were a seed. Keep growing, keep shining. Hashtag morning with Kells. You will shine. Completely out of touch. Some celebrity reaction, not only to this story, but a couple of weeks ago, Vic Mensa said, R. Kelly is a scumbag and a very dirty man. He needs to be locked away forever. And Issa Rae, star of Insecure, said, I mean, I was a fan, but when I heard the first reports and started reading a bunch of articles, I was off it. I was kind of disgusted. I just don't have a tolerance for that kind of behavior, and I can't separate from the music, especially when the music is about the behavior. So back to the original question, can you fathom enjoying R. Kelly's music again? April, what you think?
So here's the thing. I was never an R. Kelly fan.
Okay.
You know, I'm the only Black woman in America who did not step in the name of love. So,
really?
Let me start there. But no, you know, and I didn't need these most recent allegations for me to say that it was a no. You know, because remember, she showed up at the courthouse years ago when he was on trial for, you know, doing something similar to somebody else. So he's been canceled for me for a long time. But there is a bigger conversation about whether you can separate the artist and the art, right?
Correct.
Because, you know, as they say on Twitter, all your faves are problematic except Beyonce. But I mean, you can name Michael Jackson, you know, sharing a bed, you know, by his admission, sharing a bed in his 40s and 50s, I think, with young boys. You know, Prince was allegedly dating underage, you know what I mean? So you can really go down the line and you would end up listening to, I don't know what, like, you know, windsurfing or some songs or whatever, if you were going to cancel all of your faves. So it's a decision that everybody has to make. It's easier for me to say no to R. Kelly because I was never a fan of R. Kelly, you know, but we can talk about Marvin Gaye and Bill Withers and, you know, and so many others.
Right.
No is an easy one for me.
Dex, you actually went to see R. Kelly in concert this past summer, didn't you?
Yeah, fairly like recently, a couple weeks ago, I was just at an R. Kelly concert with my parents, nonetheless, and it was a great experience. It was very fun.
Oh, that's weird. it's
it was really fun. Like, my mom is not an R. Kelly fan, but my dad has always loved R. Kelly.
That's also very weird. Like, it's a weird story.
But what's interesting to me is that my dad, I think, has like a really, I don't know if this is necessarily a hard time doing it or if he just doesn't want to do it, but he doesn't. I mean, he completely separates the music from the actual man. And when we left, we actually had a conversation. The three of us had a conversation about, like, you know, R. Kelly and everything, especially after these new allegations came out. We talked about it, and it was really interesting to get their perspectives because my mom just doesn't care for the man at all. Never has, probably at this point, never will. But my dad was always like, I don't necessarily know if I care or even know much about R. Kelly, the human being, the person himself, but like, it's just the music that I like, not the person. Like, I'm into the music. And I understand and I can respect that because I work at a radio station and like we play R. Kelly still. And I actually, a couple weeks ago, I went and talked to the program director. I'm like, it's kind of weird that we're still playing R. Kelly and all this stuff is happening. And he was like, you know, but this is what people want to hear. Like, it's the music that people are like requesting and wanting to hear. It's not necessarily
nobody's requesting R. Kelly in 2017.
Yeah, no, well, it's the one station though is like an oldies kind of station, and like that's kind of where his music is being played a little bit. But and for me, I can respect it. Like, I can understand like playing the music, but like I would have an issue if you brought R. Kelly in and we're talking to him doing an interview and like really like promoting him and pretend like this stuff isn't happening. I completely understand when people were disagreeing, but like that makes no sense. Like if it's him, it's his music, it's all the same thing. But I can understand people separating the two. It doesn't really matter. Like if I hear an R. Kelly song on the radio, I'm not one of these people that's going to turn the station, but I'm also not one of these people that's going to be like requesting R. Kelly and going out and buying CDs and stuff like that for him either. So if the concert wasn't free, I wouldn't have been there.
Bill, is it a similar situation to Bill Cosby, where
and really quickly, that's how it was with Bill Cosby as well, as if you guys remember. Like Bill is like low-key a mentor of mine. So like I was the same way where I couldn't separate the man from the allegation.
Yeah, I won't claim that anymore. Just stop claiming it. Don't even bring it up anymore. Bill, is this like a similar situation to Cosby where you can't really watch the Cosby Show without thinking of the allegations of what Bill Cosby actually did?
Here's the thing. The Cosby, it's hard to separate the work. I understand. No, that's a lie. It's easy for me to separate the work and the person. But it's interestingly enough, I've never really been a fan of R. Kelly's voice. Like, I've always thought he had a very sick pen. Like, he could write anything at any time. But I have never been a fan of his voice. I've always thought it to be too strident. Like, it's just never did it for me. So it's very easy for me to be like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to listen to R. Kelly because I didn't like him anyway. What's even more interesting is that he's now being accused of in public. Music have known about these things for years, for absolutely numbers of years, because it's not the first time it's been going on. It's been going on since before Aaliyah died, 15, 16-year-old cousin, and people were and people know. Like, this is not new, and it's just coming to the light now. And so now people are like, oh, well, I don't want to be associated with him, but you just paid him $15,000 to write you a song 2 weeks ago. Like, get real.
What's also sick about this story is that they said that this girl met him at court. So, like, while he was on trial for doing the thing that he's doing, like, you just go right back out and do it. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, and also, with that being said, though, I do think there is a level of responsibility that should be placed on these parents as well. Like, even to this day right now, like, there are people who are letting their 17 and 16-year-old children, like, go out to these places and do these things. Like, there are sick people in this world, and you really need to be more careful. I'm not going to say the 17-year-old needs to be more responsible because, like, they're going to do what they're going to do. But as a parent, like, there has to be some type of limits and levels that you place on your children. Like, they shouldn't be doing stuff like this, or shouldn't be involved in situations where they could get caught up in stuff like this.
So the story that I read, she was skipping school.
Yeah, she skipped school.
So it's not as if the parents drove her to the courthouse every day, right? It's not clear to me whether the parents knew that she was involved. Now, once she started, doing the other stuff, and I think she was sneaking out of the house or doing some other stuff. Like, she was saying, oh, I'm going to a party at Susie's house, and really ended up at R. Kelly's. I'm not sure. And I am taking the position of parent because I'm a mother of a 17-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter. And I can tell you it's even worse now in the social media age than it was, 20, 30 years ago when I was that age. But you can't control, you can only parent as best you can and give them as much guidance as you can, and then they're going to go out and do whatever it is that they want to do, and hopefully you can just provide a safe space for them to come home. But there's no way that you can monitor, especially if they're actively lying to you. There's no way that you can
monitor. Which is so easy to do nowadays.
Yeah. What the kid is doing, and unfortunately, this girl got caught up, as apparently several others did, allegedly.
Right.
I do agree with that, and I understand where you're coming from there, because my sister is dealing with some of the similar stuff with my niece, where it's just like she's like really living her own life. But like the initial report that we read previously with the last one, there were parents who were taking these kids to these concerts and introducing their children to R. Kelly and pretending or acting like they didn't even know about the allegations from before. So with the kids line, I understand that, but there are some parents who really like actively put their kids in these situations. I just want to put that out there.
Right, moving on. Are you proud of Howard University? That question leads us to this story, which was brought to us by a couple of our Caucasoid sisters that we love so much. A couple of them went down to Howard University, and they posted the following rant on Twitter. Not one to rant on social media as they proceed to rant about politics in a serious way. However, what happened to my friend and I today was absolutely pathetic. My friend Sarah and I are on a trip to Washington, D.C. with 2 schools, blah, 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 blah. We've been able to see many of these places. Today, we visited Howard University for lunch. Sarah was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. I was wearing my new Trump t-shirt I had just recently purchased, along with my own Trump hat. Walking into the cafe, a man said, "F y'all" to me, while we were waiting in line, not knowing that HU is a predominantly black school, which either way shouldn't matter. A man came up and stole Sarah's hat. We had never engaged with the students. Half of us weren't even through the doors yet. Fortunately, one of our supervisors were able to retrieve it. We were harassed continuously. The students took photos and pictures of us saying we were being disrespectful and that us being Caucasian, we should have known better. After a lot of hate, our head supervisor decided it would be a good idea to keep peace and found somewhere else to eat. When we got on the bus, a girl from Central Tech told us to remove our hats because we are racist. This is America. These are the people who are racist and disrespectful. It's unfortunate that more Trump supporters have to fear going places than others. I will never be embarrassed for supporting Donald Trump, and I will always support our president when and wherever I please. Make America great again. One of the girls who was there decided to tell BuzzFeed actually what happened. She said, "I ain't say nothing to them people. I knew it was going to be trouble. But if I was them, I wouldn't have been wearing these t-shirts and these hats on Howard's campus." She said another student walked up to them, snatched their hats, as they said, and another student told them, "F y'all," as they said. They walked out and went on Twitter and started complaining about it. But I did feel bad for them, and I don't condone violence in any form. But at the same time, I feel like you should have done your research. Howard's Dining has a Twitter account, as well as their NAACP also has a Twitter account, and both of those accounts stood up for the students, saying that they should feel comfortable in their own dining spaces. They also, NAACP decided to add that Howard University students have no time for white supremacists and neo-Nazi sympathizers on our campus. Good riddance.
Absolutely.
Wore them out, didn't they?
I'm here for it.
A homegirl who got wore out with that hat decided to go back on to BuzzFeed and tell them, "I don't even think our advisors really knew. We just thought of Howard University. We know it's historic, so we kind of went." No really reason why it's historic. They just knew it was historic. It doesn't change how I feel about our president at all. And knowing that it was Howard and knowing that it was an all-black school would help me understand why they were doing the things they did. But it wouldn't make me remove my hat and shirt because I am proud to represent our president. Guys, are you proud of the way that Howard University handled the situation?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. The problem with America is that these lily are constantly being so privileged. Oh, let me just walk around here. First and foremost, nobody goes to Howard University for lunch. Nobody, not a soul. You can't be in DC and just stop by Howard for lunch. That's not what you do. Supervisors absolutely knew you were looking for trouble, so y'all took your behinds over there to play victim like you always do. They should.
Oh my goodness. April, what's your thoughts on Howard University?
I think Bill is exactly right. I mean, who goes into, first of all, if your advisors didn't know, you need new advisors, sis.
Okay.
They didn't know that Howard was a predominantly black, a historically black college and university. So that's number one. I had not seen the responses from Howard from the dining hall and the NAACP until just now. So that has made my night. But Becky. You know, we know what you were trying to do. You know, you knew. I mean, you know, now let's be real. Howard is not 100% black, but there is no way that you walked into that dining hall and didn't say, this doesn't look like Kansas anymore.
There's no way you even walked on the campus without thinking that. Like,
right, you know, you're walking. I mean, you know, it's not like the cafeteria or wherever they were. The dining hall is right there at the corner. Like, you had to walk in through campus. You had to see
right,
and then finally you decided. Plus, Howard isn't like in the center of Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? So it's not like they said, oh, we could go to Ben's Chili Bowl, we could go to, you know, Hard Rock Cafe, or we could go to Howard University. You chose to drive over there, and you got your behind and your MAGA hat handed to you, and I'm fine with it.
Literally. Dex, I know that I'm going to say you're a Trump supporter. You're not at all a Trump supporter.
Not at all.
You sympathize with people who support Trump.
Well, not necessarily that I sympathize with people who support Trump, but I genuinely feel that you should be able to wear a "Make America Great Again" attire at Howard University, just like you should be able to wear a dashiki at the University of Connecticut. Like, you should be able to. Like, it's your clothing, and I just don't think you bring any type of like harm to anybody by wearing what you wear that reflects you and what you think. If you're a Trump supporter and if the person supports Trump, right? And I went to Lincoln University. The person came on campus, they wore a "Make America Great Again" hat. Like, I would have had them on my radio show. I would have talked to them. I would have wanted to know why you support them. I wouldn't snatch their hat, throw it away. Like, what is that doing for you or anybody else? And I think Howard should have done a better job with, like, speaking out against this. I really think they should have told the students, like, maybe we should, like, have dialect and have dialogue with these people to have a conversation with them. I want to know why you're supporting Donald Trump. Like, you're going on college tours, which means you're still in high school. You didn't even vote for this man. So I want to know what makes you support him. Like, what about him do you support? That's what I want to know. And I think what happened with these girls, like, you're never going to get to the bottom of it. They're never going to explain why they support him. They probably don't even know why they support him. But now that the whole thing happened,
because mommy and daddy said he's okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I know people who like, mommy and daddy said it was okay to do XYZ or support XYZ, so I do it. But once you break it down and have a conversation with them, like, things change. There was a really good coworker of mine who I worked with at CBS Radio. And when she came in there, she was a staunch Republican. And I talked to her about it. I really wanted to get inside her head to figure out, like, why this and why that, so forth and so on. Why do you hate Hillary? Why is it? And when we broke it down and we talked, this girl ended up, and I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but this girl ended up volunteering at the DNC. Oh. So, like, it's just one of those things, like, a conversation with people opens up so many doors, and it really opens up people's minds. For a college campus, I really feel like they dropped the ball with this.
Well, you had your head all kinds of sideways.
So, listen, fella, how are we equating wearing a MAGA hat when the person who created the phrase is, if not a white nationalist or white supremacist himself, is clearly kowtowing to them, right? In his first statement after Charlottesville, who has brought white nationalists and white supremacists into the White House, right? So we know where he stands with respect to who has called Mexicans rapists, right? Who has told the police that they need to, you know, buckle up and hunker down on people when they're arrested, you know, who has been no friend to any marginalized communities, who made fun of a disabled reporter when he was still on the campaign trail. How are you equating that to wearing a dashiki, which is a source of black pride?
I just said as a symbolism of just a person. Just
my new favorite person.
But what for me though, what you just said is beautiful. I think what you said is beautiful. That's a question I think should have been directed to those young women. Like, if you ask them questions like that, gauge their answers, see where they come from with that. Because if they're just like, oh, I don't know, or it's no big deal, then it opens up a different door for you. Like, you understand the ignorance there. But if you ask them those questions and they gave you actual reasons why they supported this man,
it still wouldn't be good reasons.
But you don't know that because we're not asking the question.
There's not been one person that has supported Donald Trump that has actually had a reason. One of them.
I've never had a conversation with anyone. I haven't had a conversation with you.
But what you don't have to have. What you're also saying is that
Jake
you
Tapper
want to have a conversation with a 16-year-old. right? Because what you said is they're still in high school, so they didn't vote for Trump, right? So that means that they are getting their knowledge from the internet, from Fox News, from wherever, and they're getting it from their parents. So what conversation are you even having, you know, a logical, rational conversation? And again, remember, I have a teenage son, so it's not like I'm saying, you know, kids don't understand, but what rational conversation are you having to really discuss, you know, what their feelings are? Because what you said, I think, is probably right. They don't really care about Trump. They were going to HU to rile up folks and make trouble, right?
And that's what they got. And that's what we got. And the future on BuzzFeed, I don't think we should give them that kind of energy and that kind of support. I think.
But you want to talk to them. You want to have a
you would be right the story.
If I was there on Howard University's campus and I had the conversation with that girl, we wouldn't be talking about this story. BuzzFeed wouldn't have been contacted.
You would have sold that story.
What can they say? What can they say?
You would have sold that story to BuzzFeed. So we probably would have sold it.
I could have sold it. They couldn't have sold it though. They couldn't have been like, oh, we went there and we got disrespected. They can't do it. You're giving them the power when you do that. But if I sit there and have a conversation with you, I feel like I take over and I control the narrative then. I'm not gonna act the fool with you. I'm a grown man in college. You're a child. Like, why am I slipping down to a lower level than I am?
We're dismissing them. We're ushering them out. That's what we're doing. We're ushering them out and ushering a new wave in.
Oh my God.
All right, last but not least, on a scale of 1 to 10, which rating would you give the eclipse? I asked this question because I went outside. I live in California, so I'm not anywhere. I live in Southern California, so I'm not anywhere on that little strip. I'm actually quite opposite. So I probably got to see maybe like, you know, a partial eclipse or whatever. And it was cool, but it was like, all right, whatever. So I would probably give it a 7. April, what would you give it?
A 0, because I was not at all interested in, I just didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand why folks were so, you know, there were people applauding the sun as if, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you know, and so, you know, my husband took a fruit roll-ups box and made a camera or whatever you call it for my daughter.
You didn't buy no glasses?
No, sir. No. No. American money? No. So, you know, so we did the hood version or whatever, and we made our own little, you know, I shouldn't even say we, because I stayed inside and watched it on TV, because, you know, that way you can get like several different, you know, time zones or what have you. So I didn't understand it, but, you know, I am old enough that I was here for the last one. You know, God willing, I will be here for the next one, and maybe I will in, you know, 12 years or whatever it is.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Dex, what would you give it?
I was traveling, so I didn't get a chance to see it.
Damn. Bill, did you see it?
You know I did. I'm a nerd. I was going to initially use my telescope, and then I was told I could burn my eyes out.
What are you talking about?
Like Mr. Trump?
So I went, well, I don't think we're that lucky. But I did watch it because, like, something about, for me, it was on a religious level. Like, I'm like, people are going, I'm scrolling through my timeline and people being deep like, oh, y'all so hyped to see the eclipse, but are you rapture ready? When 9 times out of 10, half of those people not going to heaven anyway. Like, y'all do all this shouting and all this carrying on. Why can't I shout and be happy about the work that God does? Like, y'all can't shout about the work of the God you shouting about? Like, that always moves me. Like, God moving heaven and earth before our eyes, and we get to watch it again and again and again. Like, it's just consistent for me that God and science go together. Now, all these other fools was out here, oh, you need to be ready for the rapture. Okay, I'm ready for the rapture, but I can also watch this eclipse. You're not even going to heaven, fornicator. Like, beat it.
Okay, there you go, judging. Look at you, so judgy. Well, April, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being on the show. It was a pleasure to have you. And we wish you the absolute best in your future campaigns. And next time you have one, especially next year when this whole No Confederate thing kicks into another gear, I'm sure it will. Just come back on.
Yeah, no, we're going to
not on my watch.
That's right. We're going to get canceled before then so I can move on to something else, because HBO is really right now. But I'm happy to come back anytime to discuss anything. I had a great time. Thank you.
April, I have to thank you again, too, because like I have my team of people that, like my friends, they text me like during the show, and they're like, she's really getting you together. So I appreciate it.
Call me Auntie April on Twitter. Nobody is immune. I will snatch it just about everybody. That's right. That's my job.
Oh, yeah, and one more thing. If you guys don't know, really follow her on Twitter, especially at Rain of April, because she has this thing that is kind of under the radar. It's called Rainy Day Jobs, and it's an awesome thing where she posts job links for people who might not otherwise see them, other than that they follow her. And I've been the recipient of a couple of those inquiries and stuff like that. So I really appreciate the time that you take just to lift up other people around you to get new opportunities. So kudos to you. And you run a great account. So I really appreciate all the time you put into it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, if I could just give 30 seconds for Rainy Day Jobs, it's for people who know of jobs, you know, and so they want to pass along those opportunities, or people that are looking for work. So if you just use the hashtag Rainy Day Jobs with my last name, REIGNY DAYJOBS, and every week, once a week, I will retweet anything that I see with the Rainy Day Jobs hashtag. And you know, I've got a platform now of 100,000 people. So your next job or your next, you know, employee might see it. You know, obviously it's free because it's Twitter, and so you know, it's just sort of an alternative to LinkedIn, but it's putting things out there, I think, a little more accessible to folks. So I'm happy to use my platform in that way. Thanks for plugging that.
Thanks for being so unselfish. You're awesome. All right. Have a good night. Okay.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was good, guys. Awesome. You guys really didn't like the eclipse?
I didn't see it. It didn't exist to me.
So poof.
I don't get it. Like, you know, and then it was 2 minutes or whatever. And, you know, I'm in the DC, Baltimore area. And so it's, you know, it wasn't like a total. I think my husband said it was like 80%. And okay. I mean, you know.
All right. Moving on. All right, April. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night.
All right, we're going to move on to a segment called Q&A. Ty's not here, but we're swapping out with Ty, and we're swapping out April for, honestly, one of the biggest supporters of the show since day one, our resident super fan, Ronnie, Roan, a.k.a. Veronica, a.k.a. Ronnie. What up, sis? How you doing?
What's up? What's up? I'm so glad to be here.
We're so glad to have you.
Guys.
Yeah.
Bill is your best friend?
Yeah.
It is. I have two best friends, and she is one of my two best friends.
Am I one? Am I the other? Who's the other?
Girl.
All right. Ronnie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself so they can kind of get to know you.
Yeah. Well, I like to take long walks on the beach. You know.
Do you listen to R. Kelly music?
No. Okay. I don't listen to R. Kelly music. I also thought the eclipse was whack. I would say like half an hour of my day, like going outside with the little glasses and everything.
You didn't just Google the time?
Yeah. So everyone was crowded outside of my door at work, going outside because it's right near the exit. It was a whole hot mess. But I lived in California for a little bit. I was in the Bay Area, so north of you. You know, we didn't overlap.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, born and raised in Philly, just out here doing my thing.
That's what's up. All right. Now Dex is offended because you called him shady, and he doesn't know why. So he wants a understanding as to why you believe that he is shady. Before you're allowed to grace the show, apparently, according to Dex.
Okay.
You don't owe him no explanation. You're my best friend. You don't owe him nothing.
Well, hold on. No, Dex is shady because Dex is shady. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth is shady. I met you for the first time. Like, I feel like Dex looked me up and down. It was like, oh, who is this? Like, oh, okay. So I felt like he was gritting me on what I was wearing and everything. So, yeah, like, Dex is shady. So I take everything that he says with a grain of salt.
Oh, Dex, you have a reply? You seem confused.
No, I mean, that's news to me, but okay.
Do you still like him? Are you mad at him?
Cool. No, Dex is cool. I just know that Dex is a little shady.
Huh. Well, aren't we all a little bit?
That's
Bill,
true.
You about the shadiest one I know.
Who?
He is.
Let's move on to Q&A.
Me?
UQWA. These aren't right, so we're just going to move past that. I forgot to change those. So we have a question about procrastinating. We have a question about toxic work environments. We also have a question, what was this one about? About sex. And the last question we have is about a car loan. that someone had. Which ones would you like to go with? The two. Pick two. Any two.
Let me give you advice for that car loan. Don't lend what you can't afford to lose. Next.
Let's read that one since we're here. My relationship with my ex has always been toxic, but we routinely managed to keep interest in one another and work out our differences. That is until I put $8,000 down on her new car. Within a week after she got the car, she claimed she needed space. Then I found out she left me for some dude she works with. I feel like a fool. How can I get my money back and stop loving a girl who destroys me on the inside?
First,
go ahead,
please.
Did we lose you?
Is that a yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm getting it. Okay. So the first thing we all know, we should probably have a segment for the wise advice, because she gave us some good advice. And the first thing she said to me was, "Do not lend what you cannot afford to lose." That is critical. Y'all out here, stop lending people what you can. You know you couldn't afford no $8,000 loan. You gave it to her. You see that? You lending and you couldn't afford to lose it, and now she gone. The second thing is, that's considered a gift. You can sue her in court, and legally that is a gift. You all were in a relationship. There was no written verbal agreement, so you lost that, bruh.
So Judge Judy would dismiss this case.
The case dismissed. You see me? Swift
Ronnie,
justice.
what's your thoughts?
I don't understand why it is that someone would give out $8,000 to another person without having some sort of legal document or some sort of legal recourse. So to me, it's gone. I mean, there's no way he's getting that money back because he gifted her this $8,000 for a car. That is, I don't understand how that makes sense. It doesn't make sense.
Dex,
let me give you my Cash App name since you're just giving out $8,000.
Right, let me get some.
Do you think that person should be able to get back what they got, the $8,000, or how should they go about?
I think they summed it up very well. I agree with the two of them.
So they're a fool, basically. They're not getting their money back.
Yeah.
All right. Question. Which one y'all want to do? The one about sex, the one about procrastination, or this one about a toxic workplace?
Get a new job. Leave the toxic workplace.
I kind of want to know about this toxic workplace because there's always tea in there. So.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and read that? Can you see it, Ronnie?
I can't see it.
Okay,
No.
I'll read it. Hey guys, my name is Jasmine, and I work for the state. A new coworker.
It says, "Hey guys, my name is Jasmine."
Yeah, I'm reading it.
Oh, all right. Excuse me.
Hey guys, my name is Jasmine and I work for the state. A new coworker with a master's degree has recently appeared in our office, and my boss favors everything she does and every word she says. In meetings, he, the boss, bows to her opinion. He always agrees with her perspective on projects and trashes our efforts, especially mine. He's obviously starstruck. Why? But the new girl makes things worse by throwing other people under the bus in meetings. I don't know what to do. I used to love this job. I hate toxic work environments. Should I consider resigning or should I talk to my boss first? Dex?
Why would you leave your job? Because that doesn't make any sense to me.
So would you talk to your boss or
no? I'm really big on handling things on my own and just not involved in management unless it's very necessary. If you bring this to your management and then you have a real issue, because it's a real issue to me, and then you have a real issue, they're gonna look at you like you're always complaining, always talking. Just leave it alone and just to me, I'm just always just move at your own pace or whatever. You don't really need to be best friends with people at work and stuff like that. And I don't really think this is a toxic environment. I think I've worked in worse environments.
Mm-hmm.
So relax, don't resign, and don't talk to your boss about it.
Ryan, you agree with that?
I actually do agree with Dex to an extent. I think that she should handle it woman to woman. Talk to the young lady. Not even explain anything, but just talk to her to kind of see where she's coming from, and maybe try to model that behavior. I mean, being realistic, if you're trying to level up or stay at your job, then take the person who's doing the best job and emulate what they're doing, so that way you get your kudos. like leaving your job because someone else is outperforming you is ridiculous to me. Like find a way to be better.
Do better.
Yeah, do better.
Do better. Bill, do you have anything to echo this, or should we move along?
Let me give like a real piece of advice. You have to create, like, there should be no reason that another person can create an energy around you. You should be able to control your environment, regardless of what people are saying to you. You should be able to control your environment. And like the Dex and Ronnie said, there's no reason that you're quitting a job because somebody's outperforming you. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough, and you need to do a little better.
All right, cool. That was Q&A. For any more questions, hit us up, brotalklive.com/questions, or go on the site and just click on the little tab that says questions. It is Jizza time. Best part of the show.
Jesus.
Best part of the show. And this Jizza time was brought to you by Dexter. And this is a little game that we're going to play because he put me onto it. It's called Would You Rather. I've never played such a dirty game like this before. But
really?
I guess I don't do no Would You Rather.
I find that very hard to believe.
I'm saved, sanctified in the Holy Ghost.
I find that hard to believe. You are the chiefest of sinners amongst us.
Kaya and not Cardi B. Kaya was defending Cardi B and slamming Trina. She said Cardi B was a stripper. Cardi B was a hoe. Cardi B got her money and she was proud to say it. And Trina, it was like, I wasn't no stripper. I ain't no hoe. I ain't never sell no box. I was born a diamond princess with a gold spoon and diamonds in my mouth, and you wasn't. You got to say you was a paid hoe. I can't respect you because Cardi B came out and said, this is who I am. Trina act like she ain't never did none of that. You can't do that, girl. You got to keep it 1,000. She said that about Miss Trina. Miss Trina went on her Instagram account and decided to refute those rumors by saying, dang, bum ass B is obsessed with me. I don't understand how a grown ass bum can be so obsessed with another woman that she don't know, never had a combo with. She's delusional, fake ass. B, the women in my family have enough ass to supply the entire industry. Bye, bum. I got time today. Guys, if you had to invite one of these people over to meet your parents or your relatives, would it be Kaya or would it be Trina? Who would you rather?
Absolutely.
Oh, I was going to choose Cardi B.
It was between those two. I didn't say Cardi B.
I would absolutely bring a Kia Thug Misses over because, like, Kaya? when she
call her Kia. It's not a car. It's Kaya.
Oh, Kaya. Sorry, Kaya Thug Misses. When she came at Trina, like, she went in like very, very, very hard. I mean, like, hilariously hard. Trina's comeback was stupid. Like, what do you mean? Like, this girl saying that you're a stripper and that you're a hooker and stuff like that and you're a whore or whatever, and you're like, my family has big butts. Like, what? That doesn't even, that's not even funny.
In this Instagram comment, she said that her butt's fake. So Trina was responding to that saying, no.
I know, but like, it doesn't, that's not funny. Like, I mean, obviously, like, Kaya doesn't know you at all. So it's kind of like, if you're going to clap back at her, like, be funny about it. Like, she was funny when she came at you. Like, what she said about you was funny. And like what you said about her was like stupid. Like, you really could have kept it. I just don't think, I think Trina, like, that was like a really whack comeback.
Ronnie, if you had to introduce somebody as your best friend, would it be
Trina.
Kaya or would it be Trina?
Probably Trina, just because, Will has met my family out here in Philly. So he knows that Trina would probably fit in very well with them out here in Philly. They're a little on the ratchet side.
Okay.
So,
wait, you think Trina is more ratchet than the creator of My Neck, My Back?
Well, she's a little, Kaya, she's a little old. So
yeah, but like her ratchetness is on another level. Like she might be, if you look at the dictionary for ratchet, she might be right there. Like next to
got that gold tooth.
Trina has a whole bunch of ratchet songs where you can pile them all together, and I'm pretty sure that they would run circles around, you know, my back.
But it's not Kaya's fault that nobody wanted to hear any more music from her after that one song. but like, you know, you have to be a special level of ratchet if you create a podcast just to talk crap about people. Like you.
It's not even, the funny thing is, it's not even her podcast. Like, it's her friend.
Like, nobody
podcast.
cares about her, and she's still
on it.
She comes at Beyonce. Like, she just talks crap 24/7. At least Trina's somewhat like can sit down at a dinner and like look pretty. She hangs out with Beyonce and Kelly Rowland and stuff.
Kaya gonna have to take out the copper tooth that she got.
Ghetto as hell. Like,
Bill, you taking Trina home or Kaya?
I'm taking Trina home. Y'all seen her in that video with Trick Daddy? Woo woo below.
Oh, that's the one you want? That's the Trina you want? I think she's a little past that. That was like 20 years ago. 30 years ago almost.
I know, but I'm still bringing Trina home.
All right, I feel you. All right, moving on. Who would you rather? Paper magazine covers. Which one would you buy? Would you buy the Mariah one or would you buy the J-Lo one?
Can't neither one of them sing.
Well, Mariah's relevant because she's still has William Blatt on Instagram.
The story is extremely relevant because the beef between the two. Well, the beef between Mariah and I guess J-Lo. J-Lo doesn't know about the beef, but Mariah has this beef with J-Lo, and both of them are now doing residencies in Las Vegas, and then they both graced the cover of Paper magazine. And one of the covers looks, like amazing. The other cover,
they slimmed down that waist, didn't they, for Mariah? They slimmed that thing right on down.
Yeah, they did.
They cut
some pounds off of that face.
Like, to be honest with you, if I had to pick the two of them, I love J-Lo, but I would pick Mariah only because,
she needs it.
It's just Mariah Carey. You know what I mean? The fact that she's doing this is just kind of like, it's a sympathy pick, but I'll go with Mariah.
You think J-Lo can sing better than Mariah right now?
I think I can sing better than Mariah right now.
To be completely honest, they're about on the same level right now. J-Lo ain't never had the roadmap to no notes.
Never had a roadmap. Never knew how to get there. So, Bill, you gonna get Mariah's or you gonna get J-Lo's?
I'm sorry. Who has the #1 selling Christmas album of all time?
Mariah. Of all time. How did she do it?
I think I would get Mariah's too because it looks like a lot more work went into making Mariah's cover than it took to make. J-Lo's cover.
You're right. Mariah has a bigger catalog of music too, and a bigger waistline, so I get Mariah.
Ronnie, which one are you gonna pick up off the newsstands?
Well, because I'm spending $10 to buy this magazine, I'm gonna go with the J-Lo because I think that looks really nice.
But it's Mariah actually not singing, so you don't have to worry about her not hitting the notes.
Yeah, but the pictures in the magazine are actually worse than the picture on the cover.
I left it at that. We talked about colleges earlier, Howard University. Chance the Rapper said, I was trying to go to Clark, Atlanta. Like, I'm still trying to go. Like, not honorary, but the full blown, you did. Can someone help sign me up? So Clark, Atlanta decided to reach out to Chance and say, yeah, we're here to help. Let's make this thing happen. Esteemed college Morehouse decided to hop up on this train and block. They hit up Chance the Rapper and saying the AUC, that is a play on Clark Atlanta University's name, is a great place to be. Morehouse is an even better house to call home. Welcome home, my brother. We would love to have you in Atlanta. Clark Atlanta responded to Morehouse's inquiry at Chance the Rapper by saying, he said, CAU, stop the madness. Guys, would you rather go to Morehouse or Clark Atlanta?
I'm more of a Penn State Lincoln guy myself, so I really wouldn't pick either one of them. Just saying.
Who has a better band?
Clark Atlanta or Morehouse? I would go to Clark Atlanta, like I said. I said what I said. Right. Like, there was no need for Morehouse to insert themselves in this beef. Like, what do you? This doesn't concern you. Howard 2.0.
Bill, Clark Atlanta or Morehouse?
Clark Atlanta, just like Dex said. I said what I said.
Well, let's ask a woman, because Morehouse is an all-male school. So would you rather have a Morehouse man or would you rather have a guy from Clark Atlanta?
Choose wisely.
I will say that I would probably rather have a Morehouse man. Just
okay, that's your answer. Chance, I would assume you should go with the woman's answer in all this and head on over, take your talents down to Morehouse College.
But can we get a notification when Chance signs up for classes so I can know which classes I need to go audit or take?
Oh, don't be no groupie.
Right.
I love Chance.
Last but not least, your girl Cardi B, Dex, was on Instagram and she decided to post this. White nationalists coming to NY tomorrow. I need every Brimset, Stones, Blazers, Trey to pop out. You Crip mother effers too. United, we must stand.
Yeah.
Also, the NYPD, which Miss April Rain alluded to earlier today, has decided that they're also going to step out on hate and rally to support Colin Kaepernick, saying he's being railroaded for speaking the obvious truths. So, guys, whose backing would you rather have? Would you rather have Cardi B's or would you rather have the NYPD's? Bill?
I have a question. Is it certain members of the NYPD
You
or the
know it
NYPD as an organization?
You know it is. It's the members. It's the members that if they said they were from the NYPD, other members would be like, "Don't you dare go out there using our name." Like,
Blue Lives Matter.
back in any day. First off, there is nothing that these guys can do. Like, if I get pulled over in New York, I can still become a hashtag with this support that they have of Colin Kaepernick. At the end of the day, that's just what it is. As far as Cardi B, like, yeah, I mean, if they're gonna come out there with their TQ torches, we need to come out there with whatever it is that we use.
With the choppers.
What it is. Come on.
Sawed-off shotguns. That's what you want?
I'm not doing any violence or anything, but I'm just saying, fight fire with fire in this aspect, in this sense.
Do you feel more protected by the Cardi B or the NYPD, Ronnie?
I'm going to go with Cardi B. Yeah, no. NYPD can't do nothing for me.
If they wanted to.
Even if they want, if they wanted to, they could. So no, I'm going to go with Cardi B.
What you did there, Dex.
Cardi B for the win.
Cardi B all the way for the win, yes.
All right. We all agree Cardi B on this one. Do you think that they would do a better job than the cops would with these nationalists? I feel like they would.
I think they would do a job. Yeah, they would do something. They would actually
stand on the sidelines.
And they wouldn't leave because it got too dangerous either.
It is now time for Dex's BS Report.
All right, this is a fun one today, guys. So, if you guys have ever been to McDonald's late night, early morning, in the middle of the day, and you ask them to give you anything that requires an ice cream machine, the answer is probably our ice cream machine's down right now. So one man actually had more than enough of that and actually went into McDonald's in Florida. So he went to McDonald's and he asked for, an ice cream cone. They told him, unfortunately, our ice cream cone is done, so we can't do anything. The man decided to park his car in the drive-thru, come around, go into the McDonald's and pull a shotgun out and demand that the employees fix the ice cream machine so that he could get his fix of a McFlurry or an ice cream cone.
They've been telling him that for months.
5 minutes after he finishes eating that ice cream, he will be releasing it anyway. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
So did he actually get the ice cream? Do you know?
I think he got put in jail, actually. They didn't say if he got any ice cream or anything.
Do you have ice cream there? I don't know.
There's a big petition going out right now. There's a new recipe that was released to combat, being unhealthy. So everybody loves macaroni and cheese. So they came out with a new recipe for where you use, instead of cheese, you use avocado. So people are pissed about this.
We can stop this story right now, actually. We don't even need to hear the rest.
Well, people are pissed and they're just saying, you know what? You cannot mess up macaroni and cheese and put an avocado in there. I don't know whose idea this was, but this is not something that we're supporting. Get rid of it. So, if you guys see that coming up on social media, remember you heard it here first. And lastly, there's a couple, Samantha Adams and Cameron Cunn of Kansas City, Missouri, who actually got married yesterday during the lunar solar eclipse. The woman, Samantha, has been obsessed with space and the universe since she was 3-4 years old, and has always dreamed of having a wedding like this. So yesterday they did it. They had the big wedding. The only issue about this is that they couldn't really pay for it. So what they're doing now is creating a GoFundMe account to cover the wedding costs. If you guys would like to cover the solar lunar wedding that happened yesterday, go to search Samantha Adams or Cameron Cunn of Kansas City, Missouri, and you can donate to them. Thus far, they've made about $30, so I think they need a lot of help. So if you guys,
I will donate some avocado macaroni and guac.
Look, you can donate the avocado macaroni and cheese, maybe do a bake sale, or maybe you can donate some of that money that people spend on glasses to them. I don't know, because there's no funds there now. And that has been Dex's BS Report for the week.
Very well done, Dex. You're supposed to say thank you.
First off.
All right. That was Dex's BS Report for the week. For more of Dex's BS Report, hit him up on Twitter. What's your at now? You changed it.
We're still going through a branding re-imaging, so we'll just stick to Instagram, which is Dex Stuckey.
Okay, Stuckley. Time for seats.
There's no L's.
Bill.
So I need to give myself a seat.
Was that a belt you just let out? What was that?
It was a sigh.
Like
you know,
a heavy sigh.
Dixon, you don't understand because you're not humble like Will and I, but like oftentimes on the show, we have to seat ourselves because we pull a lot of stunts and sometimes it really catches up to us. So I felt that sigh.
Thank you, Dad.
Ronnie, do you have a seat that you want to get?
Well,
I do have a seat.
Bill was in the process.
I didn't know if you were ready. It sounded like you was like still digesting what you wanted to say.
I'm going to give myself a seat. Number one, I went on a trip that I probably shouldn't have gone on right before Ty's wedding. Spent to Panama. I spent a little more money than I should have spent, and I ended up leaving something I may or may not have needed in another country, and I can't get it because it'll probably be stolen before it gets to the mail to get to America. That's number one. Number two, I was supposed to go on another trip this week, and I haven't even packed a thing, and so as a result, I had to.
You know what it sounds like? For people who don't know what you're going through, it sounds like a drug trip. It sounds like you left drugs in Panama. They can't ship them back because you'll be shipping drugs. And you're headed back down there to get them.
No.
Or he left his passport, and then in the process of packing for the new trip, he realized he didn't have a passport. So it was like, well, I guess I ain't going nowhere.
Are you bringing drugs across the border? What's going on?
No, I'm not. And even if I was, I wouldn't tell you I was on air.
I mean, you were a little sketchy with your details, so.
Very sketchy. I may or may not have left something that I may or may not need.
Just know that I can't go on a trip that I was supposed to go on to Guatemala.
Another drug capital. Ronnie, you got to see.
It's all circumstantial.
I do have a seat, so I'm going to give a seat to. It's a work related seat. So I'm in this training program right now, and the trainer is very disorganized. So he told us, like, oh, you have a homework assignment that's due after the close of business, which was on Friday. Like, he sent us the email at noon, and he wanted it done by 5. So the homework assignment was 8 questions. So I was like, all right, cool. I can knock this out in like 10, 15 minutes. There was another homework assignment embedded within the homework assignment, and that was 100 questions. So it took me like 3 hours to do this homework assignment. So I'm going to give him a seat because he's better. Like, no. People have stuff to do. Like, I had to rearrange my entire day so I can take care of this BS assignment that he gave us. So that's who my seat goes to.
Amen.
That's a good one.
Dex, you want to go or you want me to
go? Let me go really quickly. I have 2 quick ones. So yesterday I was in Miami, and I was in the airport. And like, you're going through the baggage stuff or whatever. And I get everybody's in a rush. People are doing stuff. Like, it's crowded. Miami is a very unorganized airport too. So I'm pulling my bag along, and there's a woman who is in a wheelchair. And I'm just trying to, respectfully, like, pull it through her. I don't want to hit the woman in the wheelchair. There's this young boy. And when I say young, I mean, he's probably like college student. He comes through, and he's stepping on my damn bag and stepping on the woman's wheelchair. Like, he's stepping on her feet. And it's like, I'm not a violent person at all, or a shady person, but people throw that at me anyway. But still, I'm just not one of those people. And like, this boy, and I just had to say something. I just had to say, like, are you stupid? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're stepping on this woman's foot. Like, she's in a wheelchair. And like, it was just a lot. So like, that was that. Then I ordered an Uber to go to dinner in Miami from my hotel. And it's a 2-seater Uber. We're sitting there. Everything's fine. And then the guy's like, oh, I need to go this way. He picks up 2 more people who weren't small people either. And it's like, it's 4 people cramped in a 4-seater car now. I mean, a 4-seater car. Like, it's 4 of us in there, plus the driver. And it's like, this is uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh, I thought we ordered a 2-seater one. And he just basically put his music on and just went on by his business. Then when we got to the restaurant that we were supposed to be at, I'm like, this isn't it. Like, I know Miami. Like, I feel like I'm a local now. I know it. This isn't the area that I'm supposed to be in. He's like, oh, this is it right there. You just have to walk down the street. Like, this is not South Beach. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And he's like, yes, it is. So I get out of the car. It was 2 different. It was the restaurant that I was supposed to be at, but a different one. And I'm like, this is not it. And I was a little upset about that or whatever, because like, as an Uber driver, you should know directions. You shouldn't be asking me for directions. What is your GPS for, sir? So I kindly gave him a very nasty review. I mean, like, I wrote like the full passage out about how terrible his service was. So like, there's that. And I hope you lose your job for that. I hate to say it, but I really hope you do. And the last seat that I want to give out. So I've been like in St. Lucia for the past week, and it's been great, right? So I didn't really watch a lot of news, but here and there I would like kind of click on to see like what's happening news-wise. So then I opened it, and I saw that there was a situation in Philadelphia where they were trying to pull down a statue. And like I read the comments on it, and it was on a level of just like
never recomment ever.
Huh?
Never recomment.
Just the comments on that were so offensive and just like, you people, like you guys are creating like racism. Like this is why racism it's on another. If you really want to see true racism, look at the comment section on like some of these things.
Could never do it.
There was a story yesterday about a man in Philadelphia, a black man in Philadelphia, pulling a knife out at 7-Eleven and stabbing someone. And like obviously nobody thinks that's okay. When I saw the comments on there, I almost wanted to pay this man's bill because just some of the stuff that people were saying was just on the level of just like, nobody's defending what this man is doing, but what you're doing is like almost worse than what he did. Like as a human being, like when you see somebody do something like that, you should naturally just be like, this is wrong. But when you say like, oh, this is Obama's fault, or just another black man being held down by the system and a sarcasm, like stuff like that, it's just like, it's infuriating. And it's like on another level of just like, I try not to comment on this stuff, but like, my Twitter fingers were going crazy yesterday because it's just like, you cannot be this ignorant in life. You just cannot be this ignorant in life, especially against people that are living in the same city as you. Like, you need to open up your mind and really think before you type stuff. I didn't have time to go find their jobs, but if I did, man, I would have got a lot of people fired yesterday. But that's it.
Let's see. Unemployment.
Send me the link, Dex. I got time. I ain't at work until next week. You send me the link.
My seat's going to go out to Orbitz. If you haven't heard of Orbitz, it is it's a website kind of like Kayak and Air. What's the other ones? They got a whole bunch of them. Expedia, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of with that little plane that go around the world.
The little plane, the yellow and blue.
Yeah, the little yellow plane. Yeah, so I was in Baltimore. We all did a bunch of traveling or whatever for Ty's wedding. I was in Baltimore, and I got there and I had booked a rental car or whatever to get from place to place because I no longer have a vehicle in Baltimore of my own. So I go to the rental place, and this is before Ty got married. This is before Ty's bachelor party, and I'm trying to get the car in order to go up to the bachelor party and get everything ready to go. We're supposed to have a rehearsal, but that got canceled anyway. So I booked through Orbitz a car, and I booked the insurance to take care of everything and to make sure I didn't have any problems when I got there, and I could just give them my card and we can be about our merry little way. I woke up early in the morning to do this and everything. So they said that's confirmed. They take that little deposit out for the insurance, and I go to the car rental place, and they decide to inform me, oh, we do not accept Orbitz insurance policies that they have for our store. So I said, how is this possible? Like, what do you mean you don't accept the insurance that I paid for? Oh, well, you don't have to call them back and cancel the insurance because we can't take it. Or you can go across town to this other place with a different name it's part of our company, but not really. And you can go over there and see if they can do it. Let me call them, matter of fact, and let me find out if they'll be able to honor this insurance. So I say, okay. So they call the place. The guy said, yeah, we can do it. So I drive across town, maybe about 15 minutes, to this other place. I show up there. I present them with my documents, and I tell them that I'm ready to check out for my car. And they inform me that they also cannot honor said policy that I bought on Orbitz because it wasn't under the same name, because the venues have two different names. So even though they're owned by the same company, because they have two different names, for instance, one was called Rent or something, and the other one was called Next Car. So they're owned by the same people, but they have two different names. So they can't honor the insurance, and I'll have to buy it at the spot. So my thing is, why do you have things that you don't honor? Why would you offer something on your website? Why would Orbitz offer something on their website that they know that these places cannot honor? It's 2017. Like, it's super easy for you to see what I bought and just convert it over to what I bought. I already paid for it. I might not have paid you specifically. I might have paid Orbitz, but at the end of the day, I paid for something, and I should be honored with something. Don't send me across town for them to tell me the same damn thing. So I had to end up being on the phone for 2 hours in there, had to cancel everything, had to start all over again, had to transfer money from my bank to my credit card, and then had to have them cleared on the credit card. It literally took me 2 hours to rent a car, something that I purposely woke up early to avoid doing. So my seat goes to the entire rental car industry, especially Orbitz.com, for charging people things that they are not willing to honor when it comes down to it.
Your first mistake was leaving that place and driving across town. I'd have laid everybody out so bad in there, they'd had no other choice but to upgrade my car. See, I don't play with people. Here's the problem.
They
Y'all
did
be playing
upgrade
with
us
these fools.
a little bit.
See, there's no way I'd have went through no 2 hours. I'd have laid everybody out
They
in
upgraded
the
from
first place.
compact.
I wouldn't have left. You're not sending me across no town. I
They
bought it
upgraded
here.
from economy to compact.
I'd be leaving in luxury SUV by the time I was through with them.
with the driver?
With the driver, okay? You driving me to Philadelphia.
All right, those seats. Don't forget, tell a friend about the show, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. It's a very special thank you to Ronnie for joining us for the second half of the show. We appreciate you, Ronnie. Yeah, Superfan Ronnie. Woo!
It was so nice to be here with you guys and finally experience like bro talk.
The speed is quite
I'm still
intimidating.
Team Dex, by the way. So like Dex, we're still friends.
Okay, you could be team.
And I didn't look you up and down. At the wedding when I saw you, I was happy to see you.
Mm.
He gazed.
Okay.
This has been another edition of Bro Talk Live. Follow April Rain on Twitter, Rain of April. And make sure that you stay in contact with her because she's a really good source to have for free, 99.com. This has been Bro Talk Live. Any last words?
Wait, you got to shout Ronnie's Instagram name or Twitter.
Ronnie, do you want people to follow you on Twitter or Instagram?
Nah.
She's funny on there.
There we go.
Don't need to follow me.
Leave me alone. I want to be private.
There we go. We'll leave you with Dex's smiling face. And for Ronnie, for Dex, for Bill, also for Ty, happy honeymooning, Ty. This has been another edition of Bro Talk Live. We out.